When people look at Michael Porter Jr.'s season, a lot of folks are calling it a breakout. But honestly, I don't view it that way. This season isn't surprising, it's expected. And the biggest reason isn't even the scoring, it's the availability. The best ability, in my humble opinion, is availability. And for the first time in a while, Michael Porter Jr. has been available consistently. Once you start there, everything else about this season makes sense. Michael Porter Jr. has played in 22 out of the 26 games this season. That matters, especially when you're talking about a player whose entire career narrative has been tied to injuries, specifically his back. The talent was never the question. The timeline was. When a shooter like MPJ can stack games together, get into a rhythm, and not have to constantly stop and start, the game slowed down for him. This isn't a random high stretch. This is rhythm. Rhythm is all about getting reps and things of that nature. So in saying that, let's dive right into it. Michael Porter Jr. Man, what a season his brother has had. Averaging career highs all across the chart. When you look at the numbers, they tell a clear, very story. He's averaging about 26 points per game, along with 7 rebounds and over 3 assists. He's shooting right around 50% from the field, close to 40% from three-point range, and about 82% from the three-point line, from the free throw line, excuse me. From two-point range, he's nearly at 60%. That's elite efficiency all across all three levels. These aren't forced shots. These aren't bad shots piling up value. These are clean looks, decisive moves, and the scorer who knows exactly where his spots are on the floor. Obviously, some will call it empty stats, but I wouldn't view it that way. It's all about opportunity, and Michael Porter Jr. has been taking most of that. To really understand this season, you have to look back at his time with the Denver Nuggets. Playing next to Jokic, MPJ was never asked to be the focal point of the offense. He was asked to fit. He was asked to space the floor, rebound, defend, and take advantage of the opportunity that came his way. And that role worked. They won a championship. But winning early sometimes hides individual growth. MPJ sacrificed touch to be part of something bigger, and he did it the right way. He became a reliable piece on the title team, not a volume scorer chasing numbers. Now fast forward to his time with the Brooklyn Nets this season. Yes, the Nets aren't good. I just deliberated on that. Let's be honest about that. But this environment has given MPJ something he hasn't constantly had before. Offensive freedom, more responsibility, more room to explore his game, being able to play through his mistakes. People would say these are empty stats like I just alluded to, but because the team isn't winning, but efficiency travels. When a player is putting up these numbers on this level of efficiency, that tells you the production is real regardless of the record. Some players don't break out because of talent, they break out because of time. We all know the injuries history of MPJ career, but that didn't define it. Winning early limited his role, but it didn't limit his ability. This season isn't about suddenly becoming good. It's about him finally having the space to be himself. This is what betting on yourself looks like when it goes right. No matter where Brooklyn goes for him this season matters for MPJ. It resets how people view him not just as a shooter, but as a complete scorer who can handle responsibility when given the chance. MPJ will always this player. The league is honestly just catching up to him. There was a lot of early comparisons to, him coming out of high school to guys like Tracy McGrady, Kevin Durant, being able to like model his game after those guys. And you can kind of see it like during his time in high school, but like I just alluded to, like injuries, specifically the back, it just didn't do him no wonders. But it's all about opportunity, and him playing in Brooklyn, it just showed that pretty much anybody in the league, but given the right, fair opportunity, it can just do wonders for you in your career. And this season feel bigger than just numbers. It's about patience. It's about understanding development isn't always linear. Some players need time, health, and the right situation for everything to line up. Michael Porter Jr.'s story is a reminder that talent doesn't disappear, it waits. And when opportunity finally shows up, you have to be ready to take advantage of it. This season, MPJ has been ready, and if this level of play continues, the conversation around him is definitely going to change permanently, not just as a role player from a championship team, but as someone who can carry real offensive responsibility when needed. This is the type of season that reshapes a person's career. And honestly, this is just one example around the league. There are plenty of players whose stories look the same, guys who didn't suddenly get better. They just finally got the space and the opportunity. That's what this series is about. Recognizing when betting on yourself goes right, understanding the order of a breakout, and giving context to season that deserve more respect than they get. If you're really watching the games, you'll definitely see it. And if you're patient enough the game, I always tell you it was ready all along. They just need the fair opportunity. And when I look at a guy like Michael Porter Jr., it's all about opportunity. And he's just taking the most of it for sure. So shout out to MPJ, man. I've always been a fan of this guy in this game. Yeah, even when he was down there in Denver, they got a chip out of it. So for him, he honestly can't complain. He got paid down there and things like that. So yeah, and also like it kind of shows why context always matter more than headlines. Box scores can tell you what happened, but they rarely tell you why. If you don't account for injuries, role, and opportunity, you miss the full picture. Michael Porter Jr.'s season isn't about proving people wrong. It's about proving that patience, both from a player and an organization, still matters in today's league. We see this every year. A player gets written off too early, a situation doesn't line up the right way, and instead of waiting, people rush to label the career. But basketball careers aren't built on Twitter timelines, they're built on reps, health, and timing. When those three things finally align, the results speak for themselves. Sometimes the loudest breakouts aren't the most important ones. Sometimes it's the quiet, efficient season that tells you the most about a player. That's the season Michael Porter Jr. is having right now.